Welcome back in Studio 4. Thank you so much for staying with us. We will now move to our AGORA interview on the role of new technologies in health and social security systems in order to protect the most vulnerable people in Africa. As we know, Africa will be amongst the continents that suffer the most from the climate crisis, even though contributors probably among the least. And the problem of climate change will also lead to increase of diseases. So this increase of diseases will unfortunately put pressure on existing health systems, and this is even more the case for health systems that are already structurally weak, as it is the case in many countries in Africa. We will now hear from Satec, a Spanish company and a global leader in information and communication technologies, how to tackle this challenge that comes from both climate change and often structural weak health systems. In order to get you started with the work of Satec, we have a very short introduction video for you. So with this very short teaser, just to get you started with the work of Satec, I now have the pleasure to introduce to you José Ignacio Vences, who is the Director of Business Development at Satec. José, thank you so much for being with us today. I mentioned in my introduction the dual challenge that Africa is facing, both coming from climate change and often structural weak health systems. Could you tell us, from your many years of experience in the ground, I believe Satec has been active on the ground for more than 20 years, what concrete problems and challenges are you facing in your daily life? What problems do people have on the ground when it comes to health systems?
Okay, good afternoon. First of all, thank you for the opportunity to be in this event. Well, there is not a single Africa, and the reality on each country could be different. Say that probably the first idea that comes to mind could be budget problems. But although that is true and is necessary more investment, we dare say that the bigger issue is the lack of professionals, especially on rural areas. Doctors are usually concentrated in the main cities, and therefore it's easier to get quality assistance in the capital. Let me share a brief history. Last week we were talking with a colleague, and she told me that due to this scarcity of resources on rural areas, entire families have to move to a city to get a diagnostic test. Another issue is that due to the prevalence of infectious disease, the medicine in Africa is very focused on acute illness. Primary healthcare in Africa is not the foundation of the system, and normally patients bypass it and goes directly to the hospital. Most of the primary care is driven by nurses. They do a good job, but I think that it's necessary to strengthen the primary key. Well, in summary, we will say that the main problems is the lack of professionals, budget problems, the need to change the health model, and well, it's not my field, but it's important, political governance.
On the problems that you're facing with when working on the ground, we also, of course, take with us your reminder that there is not one single Africa. There are different perspectives that we need to adapt to. So maybe you could tell us a little bit more than what Satec is doing in order to tackle these challenges. What solutions are you providing?
Okay, well, ideally, technology can bring professionals to the field, improve diagnostic capacity, thanks to medical device integration. Because of that, you could be the vehicle to strengthen the primary healthcare. I think that the key in Africa is to strengthen the primary healthcare. Think, for instance, about childbirth. In some countries, women and babies die in the childbirth. And surgery and resources cannot travel through the network. Since that is necessary to anticipate the diagnostics and to avoid deaths. Telehealth solution that, for instance, we provide is not a substitute for face-to-face assistance. It's complementary, and it can boost prevention. And I think the key is prevention. But one thing, technology is important. I don't know if I can say in this forum, technology is important, but it's not all about technology. It's necessary to rethink the medical protocols and the way we provide the health services, and also the way we reward it or we pay it. Sometimes we think in technology like an add-on, and that's not work. It's necessary to redefine processes. You need a technology solution flexibly enough to adapt to every scenario, because every scenario needs a particular solution. Sometimes it's a video conference system. Sometimes you can use an store and forward procedure. And sometimes a simple chat is more than enough. Technology is just an enabler. And like at least I said in the school, it's a necessary condition, but it's not enough.
Thank you very much, Jose. Indeed, I think we all agree technology is a means, of course, that needs to be fed in other processes. And it's not only about technology, but also about changing the health systems and the processes on the ground. But I understand that telehealth is one of the solutions that you're offering that can be used for problem solving, but also for the anticipation of risks. Maybe to make it a little bit more concrete, you could explain to our audience your practical experience on the ground and also about your lessons learned.
Well, I dare say that the first thing is not take anything for granted. What I mean, it cannot be assumed that the resources that are available, for instance, in Europe, are going to be the same in Africa. And you need to evaluate which technology is suitable on which environment. For instance, if you think on a broadband connections, probably in main cities, you can assume that they are available. But on rural areas where the only way to communicate could be a satellite connections, the thing is different. It's expensive, has latency problems, and has throughput issues. Because of that, I think it's necessary to rethink the solution and every time adapt to the field. Try to keep the solution as simple as possible and be flexible and to increase the complexity whenever it is possible. Let me show you a brief example. Right now, we are collaborating with a charity institution in Chad, the Good Samaritan Hospital. Well, the first thing that they asked for was really simple. They only want to record the patient information, but because right now the patient should carry out a notebook with all the information that the doctors write down. This is simple, but for them it's so important because the patient lose these notebooks or whatever. And in my opinion, the moral could be try to resolve the problems and not to deploy your brand new platform. don't take anything for granted, be humble, and use flexible technology.
Thank you, Jose. Very important. Keep it simple. Why making it complicated? Of course, if simple solutions also do the job. And also, again, your reminder that we need to adapt to local realities on the ground. Now, you talked a lot about telehealth consultation. I think you also prepared a video for us, for our audience, and for us to get an idea how this works. I don't know how many people from the audience actually already did a telehealth consultation, but now we will have the chance to see how this looks like.
The main objective of HelpPoint is to improve diagnosis quality through the use of new technologies, as well as cost saving for the health system, without neglecting the usability and integration between information systems. Doctors are able to access to second opinion with renowned specialists in the capital. They can access continuous training and knowledge sharing. Remote consultation removes the need for the population to move. The system is integrated with the video conference platform, giving access to a set of collaborative services.
Hello, David. Good morning. How are you doing today? Hello.
Hello, Romani. I'm fine today. Thanks. How are you?
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Let's gonna check how your vital signs are doing today.
Yes, I'm using the oximeter that you said last time.
Which means significant saving in cost and time, contributing to a European Green Deal to become climate neutral by the year of 2050. For monitoring, health receives values of vital signs such as blood pressure, pulsation, oxygen saturation or temperature. One of the main lessons that the crisis is showing is the importance of having, in quality and time, relevant information that allows us to know the situation and access it to make the right decisions. With HelpPoint, we provide a means to our clients to have the precise information.
Great, thank you so much, Satec, for providing this really interesting video that gave us an idea how telehealth could actually look like. Also, a big thank you to you, Jose, for being with us today, for sharing with us your experience in the ground, to tell us what challenges there are, but also the solutions that you're providing. David, unfortunately, we are running out of time. Thank you so much also for your presence today. We will now continue here with a short break, everyone. We go in a short break. You will have the chance to network and to check out our global village. Don't miss that opportunity. We will be back here in Studio 4 on the topic of research data and new technologies around 15:10. See you in a bit.